welcome back to Heather's Greenhouse. So today I want to talk all things fertilizer. So you can see here I have 3 different fertilizers that I do use in my garden. These are not sponsored. This is just what I use. I'll ask the editor to put links in the description below. So you will notice that I use Stay Green Instant Feed plant food. That is identical basically to Miracle-Gro. Now, I use that only in my ornamental pots. I do not use that on my garden or anything edible. So what do I use in my garden that's going to be edible? I use Dr. Earth Pure Gold Organic and Natural All-Purpose Fertilizer. This is my go-to if there's anything that's going to be edible. Another thing that I love to use, and this is just a sample bag, but organic tomato tone. This is really good, and I use this on my tomatoes. I use it on my strawberries. I use it on a lot of different things, and I really enjoy this product. It is organic. I think tomato tone is from Espoma. Again, I'm not sponsored in any way. That's just my preferred. So let's talk about the Miracle-Gro equivalent. So I'm going to tell you, I use Miracle-Gro type products and Miracle-Gro potting soil for my ornamental flowers. If there's something that I'm growing that I'm going to eat or my family is going to eat, I will never use these products. I'm pure organic for anything that we're going to eat. So it's usually the Dr. Earth or the Espoma products, such as the plant tone or tomato tone. So now's a good time probably to talk about compost, because compost is one of the best fertilizers you can use. So natural products. So right here you'll see that I have, this is, well, that's honestly just debris from where I cleaned up my carex in the front yard, and I just put it piled up here. Now it's too thick for anything to grow in here, but that's okay because I'm using this as a cover mulch. I'm trying to use this to prevent weed seeds and to keep moisture and to regulate the temperature for my eucalyptus plant right here. So I am not trying to let anything grow through that. That's not the intent of it. But yeah, just yard waste. Look at that. That's just yard waste. But it's a good mulch. Another thing that I enjoy doing is composting. So my tabletop composter is my favorite go-to when I'm cooking and I have waste. I don't put any fats or meats or anything in it. It's only vegetable and flowers and things like that. It's very organic. Mainly because I don't want to walk out to my compost every night after dinner. So I compost it inside, then I can bring it out. And when I bring it out, I just sprinkle it directly on the garden bed. But you can see I do have multiple composters out here. I try not to waste any organic material. So you can see. Now, is that a perfect compost pile? Absolutely not. But will this break down and make beautiful compost? Yes. And compost, in my opinion, is the best fertilizer. You don't need to buy fertilizer if you're composting. So let's look at compost bin 2. And I gotta sit my phone down. Sorry, editor. Goodness, I still can't get in this thing. Ah, there we go. Okay, so here's the second compost bin. Again, this is not an ideal pile. It doesn't have near enough green waste It hasn't been watered. It hasn't been rotated. I honestly just throw debris in here, let it break down over time, and it does break down over time. Then I can take this and put it directly in my garden. And again, compost, organic matter is my favorite fertilizer. And everything I do is organic from a vegetable garden standpoint. Again, my ornamentals, my flowers, I will use the products such as the Miracle Grow if it's flowers. You can see this bed right here. It's in need of some help. It was struggling. It's predominantly clay. It doesn't get a lot of sun. And I've just been throwing yard waste directly in here. I'm not composting it necessarily. I'm not really doing anything with it. I just throw it in here. And it will break down over time. And it will break down the red clay and make topsoil. And then once I have some good soil in here, then I'll be able to plant things. I'm really not going to plant until I've improved the soil condition, because nothing's really going to thrive in here. I don't know if you can see, but I've got daffodils, and that's about it. A couple weeds. I did notice that the mint did come back. So that's mint. And no, you should not plant mint directly in the ground. I did because I was wanting this mint to fill in this bed because I knew I had bad soil. I knew it didn't get enough light. I knew it didn't get, I don't tend to this properly. And so I wanted to put the mint in thinking it would grow wild and fill in. Believe it or not, the deer ate it. I know deer aren't supposed to like mint, but my deer ate all of my mint down to the ground. I didn't think it was going to come back. So I'm happy to see that it did come back. And I'm going to let it go if it wants to go. If the mint wants to fill in this bed, it can absolutely have it. Okay, so let's go look at the garden. And I apologize for the light and the shadows. Y'all know how it is. Working full time, trying to do a garden. It's not going to be perfect, but you do the best you can. All right, now, I want to talk about this. So, this is just a shepherd's hook with 2 hanging pots on it. The one on the left is a geranium that my wonderful husband bought me from the grocery store. The one on the right is a pot that I probably have had 3 years. A friend of mine gave me a little hanging ladybug for my birthday, and I think that's so cute and whimsical. I have garden and yard art in the backyard. I don't in the front, but I do back here. I like a little touch of whimsy back here, so I think that's cute. So what's in this pot? It doesn't look like much. Some rooted snapdragons, and then I threw some snapdragon seeds in there from my snapdragons from over there in the garden. And we'll walk over there because I know y'all probably can't say, well, what snapdragons you're talking about. But anyway, the point is, I rooted snapdragons, and I got some of my snapdragon seeds that I saved out of my garden, and I put them in there. It doesn't look like much now, and in comparison to the geranium, it's not beautiful and gorgeous, but I am confident it will fill in. So when you don't have a lot of money as a gardener, sometimes you got to get creative, and you just got to be patient, because you will see that that snapdragon pot will be as beautiful as the geranium pot is. But I have to be patient. And so that's, I guess, my takeaway today. If you want to save money in gardening, you just got to be more patient, because you can do it. And look at this. Isn't that bed so pretty? Hyacinths. So we have a pink hyacinth, a purple grape hyacinth. This is cilantro. And that cilantro, as soon as it gets hot, it will go to seed. I'll let it flower. I think the flowers are pretty. The pollinators love it. And then I can collect free seed for next year. We've got some garlic for our garlic grow challenge. We'll probably harvest this around July 4th and see if we can be competitive with garlic. We definitely are not going to be competitive with tomatoes. Some purple hyacinth that's spent. And that's another thing. A lot of times I will let flowers just stay where they are, go to seed, see if they'll reseed themselves. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And y'all know I love my daffodils. I have to show them off. And tulips. Isn't that beautiful right before Easter? Now, I do not buy tulips because they will not return in this area. I'm zone 8, Midlands of South Carolina. They will not come back. But, end of season, I bought a clearance bag of bulbs. Grab bag, who knows what was in it? Evidently, there were a couple of tulips in it. I just planted what was in the bag, and then I get the wonderful surprise of the tulips. Here's another one that hadn't quite opened up yet. Oh my goodness, look at this, y'all. So that is a peony returning from last year. I can see the top of it already has some cold damage, which is interesting because usually we don't get cold enough for long enough for peonies in this area. I have the one peony here. I have one peony in the front courtyard. I didn't know if they were even going to come back. I think they're beautiful, but I didn't expect much, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm really excited. It was colder, longer than any winter that I remember on record, so it might have gotten cold enough for long enough for the peonies to actually bloom this year. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And then this hyacinth, it's spent, but again, I just leave them. I let them just fall to the ground and compost themselves. They'll be feed for themselves next year, or they'll feed something else. And then I've got an anemone right here. Isn't that beautiful? It's getting ready to open. Okay, let's keep going because we have a lot to look at and more beautiful daffodils. Same thing. I get a clearance mixed bag of daffodils. I don't know what the brands are. I don't know the names, so I do apologize. But I love the surprise. I love a blend or a mix. Hey Willow, you coming back inside? And look at the bulbs in here. So I just took some of the bulbs and just layered them in this pot. You can see there's a lot of different bulbs. Man, that pot is full. You got the grape hyacinth, or muscaria, I think it's also called. Looks like there might be some tulips. I don't know what that is. I'm excited to find out. And then these are the Dutch iris. Happy to see them coming back. And there's just a mixed bag of lettuce in there. And that's something you'll find I do a lot of. I like to mix ornamentals and vegetables. And again, if I put vegetables in with my ornamentals, then I do not use anything but organic products on it. But if I have a pot that doesn't have anything I'm going to eat in it, like this pot over here, there's nothing edible in it, I will use the cheaper chemical fertilizers on those. If it's purely ornamental, Miracle Grow's great because it's cheap, it's readily available, and I can find it. But if it's something that I'm going to eat on, like the lettuce or the rosemary here, then I only use organic fertilizers. And you do have to check the organics too. Sometimes they'll slap a label of organic on it and it's not truly organic. Y'all, every time I walk past this eucalyptus, then I have to move it. It smells so good. If you have the opportunity to plant eucalyptus, I highly recommend it. This one I cut on all the time to bring inside, so it is definitely more bush than tree. But man, it smells so good. Love the smell of eucalyptus. All right, what do we have over here? So this is where I've got the bench with the arch. I had some random stuff growing in a pot. I did throw a couple of loofah seeds in it. I do not see any loofah, but those are pretty and they're healthy. So I don't know, I do need a climber. I need to put something on this that will climb over the trellis. It's in shade during the summer, but after lunch it is full sun, so I need the shade of something being on the archway. I gotta figure that out. I don't know. You know, some scarlet runner beans might be beautiful, and that would be twofold, edible and pretty. I might try some scarlet runner beans. What do y'all think? And then, my goodness, look at that chrysanthemum. That was a small quart pot when I bought it a year ago. It has loved being in the ground. Hey, Chrissy Ann. Hey, Chrissy. Hey, baby girl. Hey, sweet thing. Alright, and here we've got a mismatch. Now this is some edibles and some ornamentals. And I tend to put my sunflower seeds in here and grow sunflowers in here. Now sunflowers, I do like to do succession planting. So I will put like a dozen sunflower seeds out every week, so that I have a long succession of sunflowers, because I think they're so pretty and I enjoy them so much. And of course, the birds. We have tons of birds around here at the lake. And there's like a fishing competition today, so we have tons of boats. So I apologize if there's boat noise in the back. Alright, and talking about the sunflowers, here's some sunflowers here in this bed. And you can see they're actually spilling over the side of the bed. Now a lot of people don't think of sunflowers as spillers, but they are for me. You can see you've got the upright, tall, and then you've got the spiller. That's why I think it's going to be beautiful in that hanging pot. You know, this is just a testament to how I like to garden. I like to put in a wide mix and wide variety of different things together. And I like to pack them in. I like to cram in my plants, because if you have enough plants, you don't have to do a lot of weeding. Now this time of year while I'm waiting for everything to leaf out, I've got to do weeding. So you can see here, and you can see the hyacinth are at the end, but that's okay because the hyacinth comes out, the daffodils come out, and then they just succession after that. I think this was the balloon plant that is returning and coming back up. I hope so, because that was a beautiful little plant. And then in here, again, I've got a mismatch. I've got chives back here. I've got garlic. I've got radishes. And then I've got a chrysanthemum. There we go. I was going to say, I know that name. I just said it. It's chrysanthemum. And that chrysanthemum will get big and fill in. Oh, hidden down in here, I also have an ice plant. So don't be afraid to mix edibles and ornamentals. Right here I've got my ranunculus planted, and you will see within the ranunculus I've got a sprig of rosemary that I rooted and a sprig of thyme that I rooted. Now you might ask why I put thyme and rosemary in with my ranunculus. Well, honestly, it's deer deterrence. I am trying to use companion planting of plants that deer just do not like to eat to keep them away from the plants that they do like to eat. We'll see if it works. So far it is, but I do have some blooms. Look at that. Sorry, not blooms yet, buds. So since I put the rosemary and the thyme in there, I hadn't had the deer graze them, which I'm excited about. Now rosemary will get way too big, so I'm going to have to move the rosemary eventually. But for now, it's fine where it's at. And you can see as thick as that is, I still have some weeds. And this is my other big, man, that looks like a bush. It's so big. But that is snapdragon. And it has just really made itself home there. And it is as happy as it can be. Look at that. So exciting. And then I've got some more daffodils, yet another kind. And more examples of herbs around the garden. This is a sage, and it is already infested. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that sage already has aphids on it. Man, they started early this year. And this is oregano. If you want something that'll spread, man, oregano will absolutely take over a bed. But you know what? It's in that bed. It's happy. I'm just going to leave it. Let's go look at the purple anemones. Aren't they just beautiful? And let me tell you, anemones last what seems like forever in a vase once you cut them and take them inside. I am so pleasantly surprised, and I will always have anemones in my garden from here on out. I think they're absolutely beautiful. And this is technically the vegetable bed. Again, I pack in just a lot of different things. I don't have neat, tight rows. Everything just kind of grows together. And I do let things go to flower. You can see that I don't know what that is. That might be kale that's going to flower there. But they're very pretty. I like the flowers. The pollinators love them. I get free seeds, so I'm going to leave them. And then this bed over here. Wow, look at that. Just that right there. If that doesn't say Easter, I don't know what does. And I think this is a radish, like a daikon radish that's getting ready to go to seed. And then this over here, you can see this is already getting ready to bloom. And then the red canna's coming back out. So here's something that I deal with, and those are pests. So let me show you this. So I don't know if you can see, but a squirrel came and dug a big hole and ate whatever bulb I had there. Let me just kind of fill that back in. Man, he made a mess in here. But you know what? I'm not too upset. I have a lot of stuff in there. And I don't dislike squirrels. I actually had a squirrel as a pet when I was a kid. I named him Ricky. So Ricky was in a tree that my dad cut down, and he didn't know there was a squirrel nest, and there were 3 babies. Ricky was on top when the tree fell. Ricky lived, his 2 siblings did not. We took him inside, gave him a bath, fed him out of a tiny little eyedropper bottle that we made with a mixture that the vet gave us of milk, honey, and egg yolks. And Ricky loved life. He lived in a bird cage of all things, but he was happy. And then when he grew up, when we were outside, he just didn't come back one day. And I was thrilled to see that, because he ended up coming back like the next year with a girlfriend, and he ended up having babies. And I thought that was so cool. And look, the salvia is getting ready to bloom. That makes me happy because the hummingbirds love that. And I do not feed hummingbird food. I grow flowers for the hummingbirds. Alright, now, this rainbow euphorbia, I think is absolutely gorgeous. It was on a list recently of plants that gardeners hate. I don't know why. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's evergreen. The flowers aren't ridiculously showy, but I think they're very pretty. The downside, you do have to be careful. The sap can irritate your skin, so you need to wear gloves. But I think it's pretty enough that it's worth it. And the gladiolus are coming back out. Another chrysanthemum there. And I did put the pansies in this bed the other day just because they needed to get out of the pots. They will not live through the summer here. It's just too hot and humid. So they'll be there for now, and then they'll be wonderful compost, and they will fertilize whatever else I plant in there. Alright, Chrissy, tell them, say, happy gardening till next time.